If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
Hello and welcome to KoiCast. I am Koi Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and most people. This is Stump the MCU Chump, and you can guess who that chump might be, and you can also guess who named the episode. None other than the great, the wonderful, the ever finding ways to get at me, Jake Lloyd Bacon. How you doing, man?
What do you mean? I gave you the options. I said
the other one was even sassier.
No, it wasn't.
What was the other one?
This one was Chump was meaner. You're gonna make me look the texts up, and people
it was literally something even like Chump was the kinder of the two.
No, it wasn't. And listen, you listen.
It was like,
let's see,
trick the MCU dick or something. It was something like.
Now, no matter what it is, it's not gonna be as good as that. It was test. Yeah, it was test the MCU pest.
Yeah, being a pest is worse than being a chump. A pest implies like I buzz around people. A chump is like he's affable. A pest is like a mosquito.
No, a pest is, listen, John Leguizamo was the pest. There's nothing wrong with being that company.
Pest. A pest is just like a nuisance. A chump is like, this guy. Like Jimmy Olsen could be like called a chump by a villain. And you're like, he's just a chump. Whereas a pest is like,
you know what?
Like a speedball.
Can I be honest with you? I misread you here because I really thought you would think chump because you're just such a bro. I really thought you would think chump. I thought you would think
but a chump is something a bro calls nerds. A chump is like, before they thump them on the head. It's just such you chump.
A chump.
Well, before we get to
a Wolverine calls Cyclops.
100%. That's a bro, a negative but not too negative bro term at another bro, but a different flavor of bro is a chump. But before we get to fuck the MCU punk, I want to dive into the lead up to Christmas, which both Jake and I love. He watched 4 of my favorite movies, so I rarely plug the Patreon right at the top. But if you guys aren't patrons, next week we're going to talk about 4 of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't think we've ever done an episode that was a full-on series. Jake's watched Hunger Games, and he's gone on journeys.
Yeah, exactly. It's always been like that and some other stuff, but
it's been a series. We've never done an episode that was a bottle. Like, I'm really excited because it's usually a series over months. This is like he covered 20 years of a franchise. We're going to watch it in one.
We'll stop burying the lead here. Over on the Patreon, a Lethal Weapons special.
Yes. I'm so excited.
We're going to be talking all things Lethal Weapon. I hope
Psycho Pension.
I hope Koi brush up on his trivia because we've got I asked everybody to send in all the Lethal Weapon trivia as well. No, I'm kidding. His face, Koi's face just got real stern.
I was like, he cut his hair because what between 3 and 4? The jacket was what year and from what Italian company?
So over on the Patreon, we're going to be doing a Lethal Weapon special. What better way to celebrate the holidays than with Koi's favorite Christmas movie?
Yes. So that's coming up. But before we do that, this is the end of the year tradition of, making me look bad. And last year I did
2 years ago. You keep saying last year.
2 years ago, I was very proud of my work.
Listen,
I know Spider-Man more than I know the MCU, so I'm really curious how this goes.
All right, so if you haven't been listening, if for some reason you just tuned in and you haven't been listening for the past couple episodes or you haven't heard the announcements, welcome. It is time to stump the MCU chump. I tasked our listeners with sending in questions about the Marvel Cinematic Universe to Koi to ask him. And if you stump him, you get entered into a drawing to win an item of your choosing from the shop that includes the brand new hoodies. If you'd like a brand new KoiCast hoodie.
I saw one of those in the wild, by the way.
Yeah,
the great Robin was wearing a beautiful gift horse hoodie, and
Lovely.
it was fantastic in person.
So that drawing will happen next episode on the 27th. So we're going to do all the questions today. I'm really looking forward to it. Koi, I mean, we shouldn't waste time. We could just get right into some, but I'm going to tell you, people were really mean to you.
Well, that's because I was a chump. You see, you're mean to chumps.
These questions are sometimes absurd. There are a few that I am disqualifying, okay, for just being
that absurd.
For just being like you broke the rules of spirit of the game. It was
like had to be Googled, like it's too deep a cut.
But we've got a lot of really, really great questions. Koi, Jandro, without further ado, are you ready? You want to dive in?
I'm ready to be stumped.
Let's try to stump the MCU chump. The first set of questions, by the way, everybody was able to ask up to 3 questions. You get 3 entries into the competition. Comes from Ben Detrixhe. Ben Detrixhe, first question. In Guardians of the Galaxy, when Peter tells Gamora the legend of Footloose while they are on Nowhere, what song does he play on his Walkman? Is it Moon Age Daydream by David Bowie? Is it Fooled Around and Fell in Love by Elvin Bishop? Or is it Go All the Way by the Raspberries?
Okay, I think it's either A or B.
So, I mean, like think Footloose, of course, because, you know.
Right. I think it's B. I think it's Fooled Around and Fell in Love because it's them falling for each other. Even though Moon Age Daydream is in the film, I think it happens later. I think it's B.
That is correct.
Yes!
So he's off to a good start.
I'm glad that I opened strong because even if I get none of the rest right, listeners that got to this point are like, okay, that's worth us listening to this pop culture podcast.
You are off to a good start. Ben Detrixhe, you're 0 for 3 here so far, Ben.
Great question. I had to remember like the moment because the look in each other's eyes was like, oh, there's actually friction in Marvel. They can have like actual chemistry.
Also, I mean, Fooled Around and Fell in Love, kind of on the nose.
It's right there.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, features the following exchange between Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers. Sam, whoever he used to be, the guy he is now, I don't think he's the kind you save. He's the kind you stop. Steve, I don't know if I can do that. Sam, well, he might not give you a choice. He doesn't know you. What does Steve say next? He will. He's my friend. That's all that matters. Bucky is still in there.
This is well done because those all 3 are written like nice writing.
Those options again are he will. He's my friend. That's all that matters. And Bucky's still in there.
Okay. I don't think it's he will just because in that tone, that's not quite Steve Rogers. Bucky's still in there is my first instinct, but B is also, I think, something he says at some other point. So I think it's C. Bucky is still in there.
The answer is he will.
No way.
Yes.
The one I disregarded.
The one
I said.
Yes.
Because it just sounds so like more intense than Steve would respond in that moment.
Listen,
but
he doesn't.
It's an action espionage thriller. I get it.
He doesn't know you. He will know me. I think it is a little Steve Rogers because it's like I'm gonna make this bitch know me. It's a little.
No, that's what I mean. I didn't expect that moment of like softness.
There you go.
You know what? All right.
All right. Ben, 1 for 3.
Great writing because I bought it.
1 for 3, Ben. Which of these lines? So all right, this. Okay, this is where, and we're not even waiting. We're getting right into it. So many people asked you questions in which you had to figure out which wasn't a thing.
Jesus.
Versus which was a thing, which is so much harder. I'm going to tell you, I want to say 80% of all the questions that people, or 80% of all the people asked at least one of these kinds of questions, which is which wasn't the thing, which is so much harder because you have to remember 3 right answers. Instead of just the one right answer in the multiple choice. It's a good time.
Ben, this is cruel. And everyone else.
All right. Ben Detrixhe asks. Also, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, that wasn't exactly, I took some creative liberties with some of the phrasing of the questions and some of the multiple choice so that we can best stump the chump while being fair and realistic. So which of these lines is not one of the random details Lewis mentions in his rambling, lip-synced stories in Ant-Man.
Jesus.
So in Ant-Man, Lewis has a lot of these, you know what we're talking about, okay?
Yeah. Michael Pena Louis.
Which of the following is not one of the random details? Okay. You know how they got those baby shrimps I can't get enough of? I'm more of a neo-cubist kind of guy, right? It was actually the first pair of boobs I ever touched.
Okay, I need those Louis again.
Okay, here we go. A. You know how they got those baby shrimps I can't get enough of? B. I'm more of like a neo-cubist kind of guy, right? C. It was actually the first pair of boobs I ever touched.
Okay, I remember B being in it because I thought that line was hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, you have to, with these sorts of questions, you have to order.
I have to break it down.
Yeah.
I remember B because I do love that line. First pair of boobs I ever touched is maybe a little too scandalous for this era of Marvel because they were very Disney at the time. It's either A or C. But I could see the boobs is a good punchline, and they used him as a comic relief. I think it's A. I'm gonna go A because I think they'd need boobs to just make an audience laugh.
So one of the things that was not said was A. You know how they got those baby shrimps I can't get enough of? Well done, boy. Well done, Ben Detrixhe.
Breaking it down.
Ben Detrixhe, you got 1 out of 3, but you did still stump them. So congrats to you on all of your hard work.
I'm okay with my performance.
You know what?
I don't feel as bad as I expected to.
I told you, people are mean to you. These questions.
This was hard. What an obscure series of 3.
Oh, we're only getting started, baby boy. You better relax.
All right.
Our second set of questions comes from Luis Mendoza. From Lewis, from fictional Lewis to real life Lewis. Luis Mendoza, who also wrote in his email, I'm here to chew bubblegum and stump chumps, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well played.
Alrighty. In Iron Man 2, what element used in his arc reactor was poisonous to Tony Stark? Palladium, radium, or iridium? What element used in his arc reactor was poisonous to Tony Stark in Iron Man 2? Was it palladium, radium, or iridium?
I think it was C, iridium.
Is that your final answer?
That is my confirmed final answer, C, iridium.
It is your final and wrong answer. It was palladium. Oh. Palladium.
Damn, because the Palladium's a venue, I thought that they might have used a fake. You know what I mean? I thought sometimes they use a name that sounds like a cool thing.
I remember
Palladium.
My gripe with that, and I don't hate on Iron Man 2 the way some people do. I do agree that it's a pretty big leap from the reality that Iron Man 1 lived in. Like, Iron Man 1 was very much rooted in the world we live in. And Iron Man 2 was well, there's magic now. It was,
whereas I like that 3 went back to small other than the fire breathing.
The thing I hated about the Palladium in Iron Man 2 was that it manifested in tech motherboard lines.
Yeah, his neck was growing
but it's I could see it mucking up his veins, but it wouldn't change the shape of them.
They wouldn't become a hard drive. It became
angular.
Hardware.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Luis Mendoza already has one.
Already a stump.
1 for 3. Second question.
I always see the flogging Molly St. Patrick's Day show at the Palladium. That's what I do at the Palladium.
In Avengers Infinity War, Doctor Strange offers to buy Wong a sandwich before Hulk crashes through the Sanctum Sanctorum. What kind of sandwich does Wong want? Does he want a pastrami on rye, a meatball sub, or a tuna melt?
God damn, all 3 of those sound right.
Does he want a pastrami on rye? Hear it in his voice.
Yep.
Pastrami on rye. Meatball. He has kind of like a deep monotone voice. Let me see if I can attempt a Wong here. Pastrami on rye. A meatball sub. Yeah, I'd like a tuna melt. I'll take a tuna melt.
Pastrami on rye, because I remember it being funny because he added a specificity.
Right.
I do remember this turning into a giant meme and I even I've interviewed Wong 3 times. The actor's name is also Wong. I'm not being one of those people. I've interviewed Wong 3 times, and we've always talked about food, eventually talking about ice cream. he always likes to add a little detail, pastrami on rye.
I love that you have all of that backstory and all of that real world experience to pull for that wrong answer. It's tuna melt.
No way.
It's a tuna melt. What's tuna melt?
Is it just tuna melt, or does he have a specificity after it?
Tuna melt.
Okay, so the joke got funnier later because it definitely evolved. God damn.
Alrighty.
Okay, totally wrong.
2 for 3, Lewis. 2 for 3.
Lewis is killing it.
In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, my favorite.
We meet the Illuminati from a different Earth. Which Earth is it? Is it
838?
Is that your final answer?
I'll let you give me the so I don't make a fool of myself, but I wanted the audience to know I was confident.
Is it Earth 848? Is it Earth 838? Or is it Earth 618?
838.
It is indeed Earth 838. Very well done. 2 for 3 for Lewis, but he didn't clean sweep you. So far, no clean sweeps.
Also, I'm pretty proud of knowing an obscure 3 numbers from a movie that I did not enjoy very much.
That was one of those questions where I went, oh, fuck you. That's so mean, Lewis. That's so mean.
I had that one, but not the goddamn sandwich.
And you got that one. Well done.
I feel some redemption that I didn't need multiple choice on an actual absurd question.
All right. Let's do our next set of questions here. These come from Mass Llama. Long-time listener, friend of the pod, friend of the network, Mass Llama. We love you. Very kind.
Man of many voices, sometimes intentional.
Gracious, very kind and gracious human being. Whose real name I'm not going to give to the world, even though it's very pertinent to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mass Llama.
Stan.
First question. Which star of the television show Community had a small role playing a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in Captain America Winter Soldier? Which television show which Community TV show star played a small role as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in Captain America Winter Soldier? Is it Danny Pudi, who plays Abed? Is it Joel McHale, who plays Jeff? Or Allison Brie, who plays Annie?
It is Danny Pudi. Final answer confirmed.
That is 100% correct. Danny Pudi, of course, plays one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in Captain America Winter Soldier in an unfunny scene. And I thought, well, good for him.
Yeah, good for him having a little break,
Yeah.
a little mixing it up. That said, Joel McHale is in Stargirl over in the CW, playing a DC character that is very iconic. And Allison Brie, as of yet, has not been in a Marvel film, but has auditioned for a few. And her husband, James Franco, was considered for an original iteration of Fantastic Four that never came to pass.
Well done. Also, complete sidebar, if you are a bake-off nerd like I am, that they have an American version it's okay. It's not great, but it's fine. And they have a holiday celebrity American bake-off, and Joel McHale is on it, and it is incredible. If you're a fan of Joel, you want to see him in that environment. I assure you, you want to see him in that environment. Especially
also Joel McHale, quiet comic book nerd.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And just quiet nerd, period.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Generally
oh, my
nerd.
God.
My favorite.
We that charity thing I did last month, he was at, and he was so much more excited to talk about comics than I was prepared for. Like, it was one of those things you're like, I didn't know this was coming.
My favorite part about him on the Bake Off was that he's just this typical, he's the character he plays. He is like this cynical, he's never gotten from the soap. The soap has always been where he lived, you know?
Yeah.
And we've gotten away from that, but by the end of it, he's like, I hate how much I care about this. It's like, all right, moving on. Mass Llama's second question, in attempts to stump the MCU chump, of course, that chump being Coy Jandreau. At the end of Eternals, which member of the Infinity Watch shows up to introduce Star Fox? Is it Maxim? Is it Moondragon? Or is it Pip the Troll?
It is Pip the Troll, as played by Patton Oswalt.
It is Pip the Troll, as played by Patton Oswalt. Mass Llama did, along with this question, right? I know he's going to know it's Pip, but I'm just excited and I want to talk about Pip. So
I respect that, and I also respect the phrasing, making me afraid I did not, in fact, know it, because it was a nerdier position to take the angle
Which
from.
member of the Infinity Watch? Because it could have been a trick question of like, well, Pip is not in the Infinity Watch. Yeah, it could have been one of those.
And the other two setup are way more known as being Infinity Watch members, so it was a really clever ruse. Nicely done, Mass Llama.
The final question of Mass Llama, who's not stumped you yet, who's 0 for 3. Alrighty. Who is the third mostly incognito personality hanging out inside Moon Knight's head? Is it Chris Houlihan, Jake Lockley, or Isaac Clarke?
Ooh. So in the MCU, they don't reveal Mark Spector until the end, but in the canon, I think they're referring to Jake Lockley in this situation. I'm going to go Jake Lockley.
Jake Lockley is the correct answer, but it is Jake. I think you might be wrong. It's that end credit scene.
Right. But Mark Spector is in reference to, like, as Stephen Grant is the one they use the most.
Right.
I'm acknowledging in the comics,
Fair.
Mark Spector is the prime.
Yes, fair. Fair. Asterisk. Maslama did not stump you. Maslama clean sweeped by the MCU chump.
Yes. I think I'm gonna give him. He was being kinder than the other folks. I'm gonna give him a kindness award out of just like respecting me as a general person, not an encyclopedia that is open. I'm an encyclopedia, but man, these have been dubious.
Well, let's while I am thoroughly enjoying this, let's take a very quick break. To hit up a hotline call. What do you say?
Let's do it. Also, let the record show my hands have been in frame. I've not been able to look anything. This has been hard.
You know, I wouldn't let him get away with any of that shit, listeners.
No, he wants me stumped.
I'm
as
on
a
his
chump.
fucking ass like white on rice, baby. You better not fucking worry. All right, let's see what the hotline has in store for us.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. This is Gilbert up in the Bay Area, and I have a question about comics. And what single issue would you use to share your favorite characters with people who you would like to get into those characters? For me, there is one issue of Superman of Action Comics, Action 775. It's probably one of the more iconic Superman ones of the 2000s. It's been adapted into a animated movie called Superman vs. the Elite, so I think Koi's seen it. It's longer than the comic, obviously, because it's movie length, but I think it shows a great distinction of why Superman can still work in a world like today, especially in a post 9/11 world. And when it comes to Cyclops, who's another one of my favorite characters, there's the issue right after Thunderbird died in the 70s, and Cyclops is basically just torturing himself because of the mistakes he made or anything he thinks he made, and it's really just really relatable, because who doesn't have those intrusive thoughts when they mess things up? Or is that just me? I hope it's not just me. Anyway, you guys have happy holidays, and I hope you guys have a great 2024. Bye.
Gilbert Short, favorite introductory single issue for a character? I really can't answer this. I'm not. Yeah, at this point, I'm so detached from single issues. We talk about this all the time, where it's like
you're a tradesman.
I can think of a story. I can think of like a volume, but also I'm just such a weird, particular fucking nerd that's never not going to be the first one. Like I'm never not going to go like, well, yeah.
If I list number ones.
If I want to, exactly. Introduce you to the character, read the first issue of this thing. I do suppose with certain characters, like I guarantee you, there's probably a few like X-Men, like Nightcrawler. There's probably a few like Nightcrawler stories. If I went through and thought about it, I could probably find like this issue I really enjoyed him in. But even then, I would be like, yeah, go find a number one of something would be my kind of.
But also read Giant Size X-Men first.
Giant Size X-Men, yeah, that's his first. Yeah, totally, yeah.
I'm gonna go Ultimate Spider-Man 13. I think we'd both agree is an incredible introduction to Peter Parker and Mary Jane. I love that it's the best single Spider-Man issue, and Spider-Man doesn't appear in it because that's what Spider-Man is. I would also say The Kid Who Collects Spider-Man, that single issue with Peter Parker in the hospital with the that terminally ill child, is pretty impactful and important. So that's my Spideys. As far as like Wolverine, there's a lot of really good oneers in his like Wolverine series, because like Wolverine basically has ongoings that sometimes have just one-offs where it's just him in a bar, and like there's so many of those. I don't have any numbers off the top of my head, but I think of Wolverine as being a character that's very approachable, which is part of his popularity.
Right.
The unauthorized biography of Lex Luthor #1 is an incredible Lex Luthor issue, which gives you a lot more context on Superman from the other side.
Right.
This is a hard question. I like it a lot.
It is, yeah.
Let's see. Saga. I think it's issue 6 is the first cliffhanger where it gives you a sense of like how quickly the book can move and how like riveting you can just be like, oh fuck. Right. And I like that the book itself, you should obviously read from number 1, but the book itself introduces so many characters really quickly. That'd be kind of a fun experiment to see how much you cared about these characters by jumping in.
Sure.
So I'd say like, a cliffhanger issue of Saga.
You know what? Immortal Hulk 1 for people who are like, oh, I like the movies, I like Hulk, but I think it's a little silly. The comics present him a little silly, or it's tougher to read. Yeah. Immortal Hulk 1 is nice because you kind of omit a lot of the like, for a lack of a better phrase, dumb Hulk. A lot of like the monosyllabic version of the character.
And it gives you so much lore so quickly that you're like, okay, I want more. I love that one. That's a great one. The Boys number 1. I know The Boys is controversial, is not as good as the show, but I think the first issue gives you like a fucking world.
So good.
Alias number 10 is a great like Jessica Jones singular issue that you can then go back, and it's got a great like containedness. I remember actually specifically loving issue 10. And my final 2 are going to be Batman the Killing Joke number 1 gives you everything you need.
Sure.
As well as the first Batman issue with Scott Snyder. So like Batman number 1, but his iteration in like 2003 or whatever, because that introduces not just a new kind of flavor of Batman, but also the Court of Owls. So that's a really approachable, like, hey, jump on here, because this is like a prequel, sequel, reboot kind of. It's kind of the Star Trek Kelvin universe of Batman's.
Right.
There's like 10. I hope that I'm actually proud of those polls. There's a lot of. If I had a one-shot guide in front of me, I could be like, well, obviously this Amazing Spider-Man 239 for Hobgoblin is good, but I think I didn't.
You know what? That might be. We should bookmark that. That could be a really good episode in the future where we do a little bit of research before we record. Sometimes we get these hotline questions and it's tough for just to be like, oh, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I would love to actually give really good advice to people. I'd have to like look through. So you like
blank? You should read blank.
I have to we have to like look through our things and but we should revisit this.
I do that with when a new trailer drops on TikTok. I do you curious about this character? You should read this, and I love because it actually gets people. I went to a comic store in San Diego at Comic-Con. And they were like, "Oh, you're this guy," because I always go like, "If you like this, you should read this." And I was so flattered.
You're pointing.
I was pointing guy. Because I did 2 years of TikTok by being nuanced and describing comics and giving you lots and lots of lore. And then as soon as I started pointing and saying this, they took off. But that's the way the internet works. So I would love to do that more slow and nuanced with Jake, because that's how I'd like to deliver content.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Love that question,
Gil. Gil, and thanks for being a dedicated listener and friend. And might as well go from Gilbert's hotline call to Gilbert's Stump the MCU Chump questions. What do you say?
Let's see what kind of friend he is.
So, Gilbert, also unkind to you.
Saw that coming,
as
Gil.
in they all are. Koi did not give multiple. Like some people gave the multiple choice, some I had to create. I did. I will say I had the most fun creating Gilbert's multiple choice. And I think if Gilbert wins, I get like an asterisk because I think I'm helping stump you for some of these. All right. Especially this first one. Here we go. In Spider-Man: Homecoming, what is on the shirt Peter Parker is wearing after Tony takes away his Spidey suit? Is it I Heart New York? Is it I survived my trip to NYC with a photo of a taxi cab? Or is it the image of a New York State license plate, specifically the one that says Excelsior on the bottom, with NUYAWK, New York, in place of the plate number? So is it I Heart New York, the classic I Heart New York t-shirt we all know and love? Is it I survived my trip to NYC with a photo of a taxi cab? Or is it the image of the New York State license plate, the one that says Excelsior on the bottom, with New York in place of the plate number?
I believe it's B, I survived my trip to New York, and I also believe that shirt appeared later on with someone else wearing it. I want to say... Oh, no, I think it appeared before, and I think Pepper Potts was wearing it. Either way, B. I'm going to go B.
Correct. It is I survived my trip to NYC with a photo of a taxi cab I thought I might throw you with the Excelsior plate.
You got close because of how fucking descriptive it was. You gave me a painting that I was like, also, I can see it. It must be that.
Also, I'm so upset that I know that I'm in New York now, but we don't have the don't tell the police. We don't have the car registered here. Yeah, we're still California residents. But I am upset. I want that Excelsior plate. If I'm gonna have a New York plate, I want the one that says Excelsior on it.
New York.
Alrighty. Gilbert Short's second question is disqualified because we specifically said you can't ask questions about shit that doesn't actually happen on screen in the MCU. And he asked a question about a deleted scene. So there's no guarantee you ever saw it.
Okay, let's do this one for fun.
Exactly. Still going to ask it. I'm not going to give you multiple choice.
But damn it, Gil.
I didn't bother with multiple choice. You can't ask questions about a deleted scene because that's not what listen. The deleted scene didn't happen. In the Avengers, there are deleted scenes with Cap at a New York restaurant. Who was the actress playing the waitress?
Jesus Christ. Okay, it's in Avengers.
In Avengers, there's deleted scenes with Cap.
I'm going to assume it's the blonde actress that is then saved later because that's a Joss Whedon move. I do not know her name, but I'm going to give myself the context of, I assume it's the blonde we see later like 10 times in the final fight.
I can't confirm that. I don't think it is.
Okay.
You threw something back at me that I was ill-prepared for as host of this game show. The answer is Ashley Johnson. She's best known for her work on Blind Spot and as well as in Critical Role. She was also
Last of Us.
She was also a child actress who was incredible. She was in What Women Want, which we talked about on the Patreon-only pod last year.
Ashley Johnson is the actress I was talking about at the end of the film. So
he got it right. It was an illegal question.
Having never seen the scene.
It was a legal question, and he still got it right. All right.
Knowing Joss Whedon's style, I went, they're showing this woman a lot.
Right.
She must have been relevant in a deleted scene. And now I know she was.
0 for 2, Gilbert Short. I have a feeling you might get this other one, but who knows? Let's see. In The Avengers, what is the name of the character played by Alexis Denisof of Buffy and Angel fame? The character played by Alexis Denisof in The Avengers. Is it Cull Obsidian, Malekith the Accursed, or the other?
Can I get the multiple choice one more time?
Cull Obsidian, Malekith the Accursed, or the other?
I believe it is Cull Obsidian because Malekith was Chris Eccleston. I don't think we've had the other in. Wait. No, it's the other. It's confirmed the other. It is C. I didn't get a response yet. It is C, confirmed. Alexis Denisof played the other because it's in the scenes with Thanos up on the thing. Cull Obsidian didn't show up until Avengers Infinity War, and Malekith was played by Chris Eccleston, so it is C for sure.
I was so excited that I got you on that one because I came up with those multiple choice ones, but you are correct. It is the other. Yes, the other, and you are correct. The other he served Thanos when helping Loki to achieve his goal of becoming the ruler of Earth and gain revenge in the wake of his defeat at the hands of Thor. The other is the one who gave Loki the scepter, which would allow him to control the Chitauri army. Later, the other is eventually killed by Ronan the Accuser.
And I knew Cull Obsidian was an iconic voice, which is why it threw me, which is why it was a good multiple choice. I had to just go through it piece by piece. It was C. Man, that was good. I like that.
Gilbert 0 for 3 did not stump the MCU chump. The next one comes from. I'm so thrilled because I don't recognize the name, and I love when we hear from new people. This one comes from Varun, Varun, from Mississauga, Canada. Mississauga. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Mississuaga.
I want to say I've seen this name in the Discord, which would also make me happy.
Oh, okay. Mississauga, Canada. Varun asks, which of the following is not, once again, people really love doing this to you, which of the following is not a Stan Lee cameo role?
God damn. Okay.
Is it in The Incredible Hulk as a mailman, in Captain America, the First Avenger, as a World War II general, or in Ant-Man as a bartender? Which one is not a Stan Lee cameo role? In Incredible Hulk as a mailman, in Captain America First Avenger as a World War II general, or in Ant-Man as a bartender?
So in I know A is true because he played an actual canon mailman. B is throwing me because in Age of Ultron, he also played someone in the military, which has that great scene with the drinking right after the Mjolnir scene, making me think that's a trick question, but I believe it is C because I do not remember a bartender scene because I know he played the strip club DJ in Deadpool and it feels too parallel. I'm going to go C, Ant-Man.
Wrong. That is incorrect.
Is it B?
No, it is A. In The Incredible Hulk as a mailman is not correct. In The Incredible Hulk, he was an innocent victim and a customer of the soft drink that Banner's blood was in.
Oh, in the very beginning in the montage.
Dying after drinking Banner's blood.
He played a canon mailman in the one where he says, Tony stank.
He plays a FedEx driver in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was a trick question. And you have been stumped, you chump.
I have. Nicely done. No, I remember that scene specifically in Hulk.
Question number 2. Which of the you said you don't remember that scene specifically in Hulk?
I do. I do specifically in Hulk, and I just didn't think it through.
Right. Which one of the following is not, again, love these questions, is not a Peter Quill quote from a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I did alter the multiple choice answers given by Varun because they were impossibly cruel to you.
They were just like, hello, how are you? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you said that.
The actual answer was too plain that it was just mean. It was like, hi. Okay. Which of the following is not a Peter Quill quote from a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Is it? You should not have killed my mom and squished my Walkman. I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri. Or you look like Mary Poppins. Is it? You should not have killed my mom and squished my Walkman. I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri. Or you look like Mary Poppins.
I'm pretty sure he said A to ego. I'm pretty sure I'm Mary Poppins. Y'all had to come from somewhere. I'm going to go B. I think he knows Earth. So B.
You are correct. He did say it, but he said it to Tony Stark in Avengers Infinity War.
Oh,
not in a Guardians of the Galaxy
movie. Nicely done.
But you did get it correct. It's when
nice.
It's when Tony says to him, like, yeah, you're from Earth. And he goes, I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri. He goes, that is Earth, you idiot.
Oh, that's right. On the moon. Yeah,
yes.
I remember that. But I had to think of who he was talking to, so I got there. Yeah, that's great.
Alrighty. Which MCU actor or actress does not play a character in the live-action Star Wars universe? Is it, once again, did not play a character in the live-action Star Wars universe? Is it Paul Bettany, who plays Vision? Is it Ben Mendelsohn, who plays the Skrull refugee Talos? Or is it Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier?
Sebastian Stan, because the Sith leader or the Empire leader that Ben Mendelsohn plays, as well as Paul Bettany being the villain in Solo, which is canon. I don't care what anybody says. It is confirmed C, Sebastian Stan, though he should have played young Mark Hamill instead of deep faking him. C confirmed.
You are correct. Paul Bettany plays Dryden Voss in Solo, a Star Wars story, and Ben Mendelsohn plays Orson Krennic in Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
That's right.
Well done, sir. Well done. All right. Woo. Next batch of questions comes from Harold Stokes.
Has no one completely stumped me yet, right?
Nobody's gone 3 for 3 against you.
Okay. I just wanted that confirmed because
Ben Detrixhe, Luis Mendoza, and Varun have all stumped you, but nobody's clean sweeped you.
Okay. And I've stumped one.
You stumped more than one. You stumped multiple. You stumped 2.
Okay, good. So I'm doing better than I expected.
You're doing much better than, yes. All right, so the next batch of questions comes from Harold Stokes, and he provided what he called an easy, a medium, and a hard question in that order.
Respect. Thank you for letting me warm up, Harold.
Alrighty, so what he considers an easy question. Who specifically went to bat for RDJ to get the role of Tony Stark for Iron Man? Was it Kevin Feige, Avi Arad, or Jon Favreau?
Well, it was a few people, but amongst those, it was Jon Favreau, because they had worked together, but that was through a relationship with Shane Black, who I thought was going to be the answer, but a lot of people don't know it was also Mel Gibson, who actually put up the $1 million insurance policy because years ago, they couldn't insure Robert Downey Jr., and Mel Gibson literally put up money after he got fired from Ally McBeal. There was an insurance policy that he would stay on set. So Mel Gibson, followed by Shane Black, and then I believe it is Jon Favreau.
That is the correct answer, yes. In fairness, I probably would have disqualified this from the running because it's behind the scenes, real world stuff, but you got it right anyway. Well done, sir, on the easy. This is what he...
With historic detail.
With historic detail. This is what he calls his medium. In Doctor Strange, what was the Wi-Fi password in Kamar Taj? Is it password? Is it Shanti? Or is it Shambhala?
I think it is Shambhala, because password is funny but general. Shanti, I think, would be a harder to spell joke. I think they'd go with something that's... Yeah, I'm going to go Shambhala.
It is Shambhala. You are correct. It's a reference to the graphic novel Doctor Strange Into Shambhala.
Yes. A very, very good little arc there.
Alrighty, so far, Harold is 2 for 3 here. I'm sorry, 0 for 3 here, rather, as far as stumping. You are 2 for 3. Alrighty, here we go. His final question. In the first Avengers film, in The Avengers, I tried to get rid of that, First Avengers, because of Captain America First Avenger.
Because of the First Avenger?
I missed this one. I did not delete this one. I kept rewriting it to say, in The Avengers, and this one got through. Here we go, kids. In The Avengers, what song plays when Tony Stark arrives in Germany? Is it AC/DC's Back in Black? Is it AC/DC's Shoot to Thrill? Or is it AC/DC's Highway to Hell?
Fucking hell. All right. When he arrives in Germany. So Back in Black does play. I believe that's in the third act. I think this is second. I think, if I'm remembering the scene correctly. Shoot to Thrill narratively works there. Highway to Hell, I think, is in a different film. I'm going to go Shoot to Thrill.
That is correct. You have defeated Harold
H. Stokes.
And that was his hard question. Well done, sir.
I'm shocked I got it because all three are in the films. I had to literally hope that my mental playback was accurately soundtracked. That was such a hard, narratively, I think Shoot to Thrill would fit better there.
Respect. I don't know that I would. I don't know what I would have got that one because all three of those songs were used in Iron Man history.
And they're all great in their scenes.
Back in Black, I think, is the opening scene in Iron Man, if I'm not mistaken. And Highway to Hell, I think, is in Iron Man 3, potentially.
It's a very Shane Black pull, that wood track. Man, that was good. I like that. Great question.
The next question, only sent in one, comes from Doug McKinney. Darth Vadad himself, Douglas McKinney, asks one and only one question. And the multiple choice were provided by yours truly. In Loki Season 2, very fresh. What is the name of the author-physicist version of Ke Huy Quan's OB character? The version of him that is the author and physicist. Is it B.C. Phil, PhD? Is it A.D. Doug, PhD? Or is it I.M. Time, PhD? Obviously, those are initials. If you're not catching that, it is B.C. Phil, PhD, B period C, first initial B, second initial C, in case you're not understanding the theme here. B.C. Phil, PhD, A.D. Doug, PhD, or I.M. Time, PhD.
God damn. I don't think it's I.M. Time. That's a little too on the nose, but funny. That's more of a Kang joke. B.C. Phil is also a time joke, but I think it's a little... I'm gonna go A.D. Doug. I'm gonna go with Doug. I'm gonna lean. No, I don't. I think that's a mislead because it's Doug. A. I'm gonna go A. B.C. Phil.
Incorrect. A.D. Doug was the right answer.
God, I know. I can even picture it. I was misled because it was Doug.
Doug McKinney comes in, asks one question, and stumps your ass. Didn't even need the other
And he
two.
did it because I didn't trust myself because of Doug.
My favorite was that you went like, DC, Doug, yeah, because of the Doug. Doug would ask the question about Doug. Then you went, no, never mind. Scratch that.
I should have leaned into what I would do, which is be like, oh, my name's in that. That's exciting.
Well, speaking of Douglas McKinney, we do have a hotline call here from the man himself. Do you want to see what
let's check it out.
What Darth Vadad has to say for his last hotline call of the year?
Hello again, fellow Koicast listeners. This is Doug from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on Discord. I want to thank everyone who sent positivity my way during my surgeries and recovery. I'm doing well, thanks in large part to the medical staff who took care of me, but even more so to my amazing wife of 27 years this past month, Jessica. The brain fog after the first surgery, when I had the wires put into my brain, took a couple weeks to get over. I gather that was due to the anesthesia and the length of time I was under. However, I recovered much more quickly after the shorter second procedure to install my battery. I have 3 incisions on my scalp and a bigger one on the right side of my chest that are healing nicely. A representative from Boston Scientific gave us the remote control and wireless charger for the device. Hopefully they don't have an AI with access to a switch that could turn me evil. My programming and activation date is still December 12th. I watched the Loki finale the weekend after the first surgery with my wife, then rewatched all of season 2 with my oldest when she came home for Thanksgiving. My 14-year-old showed me the Scott Pilgrim film, which I had never seen, and the new animated series. And my wife took me to see The Marvels in an empty theater one morning about a week after it came out, which was nice for us, but not so much for the box office. I'm also still watching MASH on Hulu. This week I noticed the Avengers issues 72 and 60 at the beginning of Season 4, Episode 17. It was a double goof. Not only was Radar shown asleep with one issue and then the other during the same scene, but those issues were dated January 1970 and 1969, while the episode takes place in 1950, based on a reference to the Pittsburgh Pirates' Ralph Kiner hitting his 47th home run during a PA announcement later on. Do you have a favorite unlikely or impossible comic book appearance in a show or film?
I
hope everyone has a happy holiday season, and may all your best MCU questions stump our favorite chump. Oh, and Coy, I was trying to order a Spider-Cat t-shirt for you from your wish list, but I couldn't tell what size you wanted. Take care, all.
Darth Vadad. Okay, first off, a few things here. One, this episode will air in the feeds on the 13th, so yesterday was his... what you call it, his programming, essentially, is when everything gets turned on. I hope it went absolutely smashingly. I hope you have a little bit of relief right now. And at minimum, you're in like the training montage in the beginning of, Batman Begins. You're in the ice. You're doing fucking push-ups. I hope that you are crushing it, Doug. We absolutely love you. I'm so happy that you're at this point. And hopefully,
I was picturing Doug in the big Weapon X tank, with the programming on his head.
I like
right now he's just eviscerating fools.
He's about to pop up and just be impossibly ripped,
just so shredded because of the wiring that just happened to him.
So that's one and done. Second, I love all of the sleuthing.
Dude,
I love that he pinpoint all of these things. So his question is something that is an impossible catch in a movie or TV show from comic books that doesn't make sense. I have one that's not comic book, but it is equally nerdy. Do you have anything, Coy?
I've got a few that jump to mind. I love how important they end up making the red kryptonite in Lost Boys. Like the way they have the comics set up in the store they literally tie
it's
in
order.
What? The setup, and I think that. But what's great about that is those are all actually like time appropriate because like that's when the movie's set. But the way they have it set up teases elements of so the red kryptonite is something that happened to make the character more interesting, and they do that in 3 scenes later by inviting the lead vampire into the house. So red kryptonite serves the same purpose in the comic as it served in the plot of the film by letting the vampire come to the house, making that mislead. And I always thought that was really clever to use a nerd. Only 7 people needed that moment, and we got it. So to me, that's one of those I was not expecting that, and as I get older, I appreciate it more.
Love that. Mine is not comic book related, but One of my favorite shows. It might still be on Hulu. I don't know. Find it if you're a fan of European comedy. It is an Irish show starring Chris O'Dowd called Moon Boy. I know I've talked with you about it. I think I talked about it on Patreon pods a while. Essentially, Chris O'Dowd plays a small idiot child's imaginary friend in the late 80s in Ireland. Okay, and the family's incredible. It's filled with just comedy greats. It's so damn funny. But when they switch to 90s, they go do a Halloween episode. And Chris O'Dowd is the main character's imaginary friend. And then another actor plays the other kid's imaginary friend, right? And the two of them on the Halloween episode are both dressed up. One of them is dressed up as The Undertaker, WWF's The Undertaker. The Undertaker debuted on November 19th of 1990 at Survivor Series. Obviously, Halloween is in October, and it is in 1990. So it's literally 1 month too early for them to have any idea who The Undertaker is. Even though
that's so
the Halloween
good.
Got some. And I remember, I love that show. The show is so good. One of my favorite episodes features Paul Rudd, which is great because it's rare that you have an American actor in that, But oh my God, I nerded out so hard when I was like, this doesn't make any sense. You're in Halloween in 1990. You're at least 30 days too early for this shit.
At least. I love that. That is so specific within a month.
Not comic books, but comic book adjacent.
Great catch on MASH too, by the way. That's not exactly shot in HD. Like, that's an impressive pull. Like,
that is really good. But I will say I don't know if they did the same thing with MASH that they've done for shows like The Monkees. But like there's a Blu-ray box set of The Monkees, and they
remastered.
Yeah,
frame
they
by
went
frame.
back to the original actual physical film and redigitized.
Dude, I love MASH so much,
and it looks incredible and super sharp. And sometimes to the show's detriment, because it's like, oh, this is the 60s, or it doesn't look as good. But I wouldn't be surprised if the stuff on Hulu isn't clearer than it used to be on air, on television.
I got another one that isn't quite the right tone, but it's a similar fun little cheekiness, and cheeky pun intended. If you go back and rewatch Mallrats, the opening credits are all iconic comic artists drawing the opening credits.
Sure.
But the one they do for Ben Affleck is him as Buttman instead of Batman,
yes.
And 20 years later he would play Batman.
He would play Buttman, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always loved that fate just not only did Mallrats predict a lot of pop culture, but literally you would never have thought then obscure actor from Dazed and Confused Ben Affleck would be Batman, and he is credited as such.
I love everything about it.
The fashionable prick the prick from Fashionable Mail is also what I thought when he got out of the car in Batman versus Superman. Immediately I didn't think of Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh, it's the prick from Fashionable Mail.
Yeah, he literally, that's the origin story. Is that
he started at the mall, he got his ass kicked, he went to prison because of that girl, and then came out as Bruce Wayne.
He was a real perv. Shall we continue with our final questions?
Let's do it. I'm feeling good still.
I mean, literally, only 4 people have stumped you.
I'm impressed because I expected it to be a sweep the other way. I was so worried about this for 2 weeks.
I set this up by telling you that people were cruel to you.
Yeah, no, they weren't not.
But no, they weren't not. But you did better than I thought you would. All right, here we go. The next set of questions comes from Mercedes, a.k.a. Paintimenti. Mercedes, a.k.a. Paintimenti, I think is the Instagram account, Paintimenti.
I know of this person.
Alrighty, first question. What is the first line of dialogue in Iron Man 2008? It is spoken by Tony Stark. Is it, "You're kidding me with the hand up right now. Just speak, soldier. This isn't a funeral"? Is it, "I feel like you're driving me to a court-martial. This is crazy. What did I do?" Or is it, "I'm so sorry, boys. I'm way underdressed. I left my camo in the hotel"?
Ooh, great options.
Okay, once again, is it, "You're kidding me with the hand up right now. Just speak, soldier. This isn't a funeral"? Or is it, "I feel like you're driving me to a court-martial. This is crazy. What did I do?" Or, "I'm so sorry, boys. I'm way underdressed. I left my camo in the hotel."
C is funny because it sets up the Iron Man of it all, but I think it's not that for that reason. B, I could see, especially with the snark of how he's trying to put them at ease. But no, actually, it might be B because of that. And then A, Later on, there's a hand reference to gang signs for a photo. Let's go B. I think it's B.
The correct answer is B. I feel like a driving me to court martial. This is crazy. What did I do? Are you guys not allowed to talk? He continues. And then just a moment later, when the person in the driver's seat, Sergeant, says you intimidate them, he says, say what you want. And then one of them raises their hands. And then he says, you're kidding me with the hand up right now. Yep. And so, I tried to trick you here with some of these other ones. And
you got close because I was like, I remember that line, but I don't. And it comes before the gang signs line, which comes up soon thereafter. That was good.
Alrighty. Second question. So far, Mercedes 0 for 2. How many years was Steve Rogers frozen in the ice before being brought to New York by S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of Captain America, The First Avenger? Is it 64 years, 65 years, or 66 years?
Fuck. $66 years. Final answer.
2 for 2 so far on Mercedes, aka Paintimenti. That one was, that was a tough one because it's like it's such a kind of a minor detail that
it is.
They're all the same amount of time,
right?
Like,
it could have any of those could have been the answer.
Yeah, it's not like we did 40 years, 60 years, but then at that point you just do basic math from a war.
I just think about World War II.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, let the record show, not only did she go back to the origins of the MCU, she went back to the first line spoken in the fucking MCU, and I'm still hanging on.
Alrighty, third question. What is the name of the protocol Tony Stark enacts at the end of Iron Man 3? Is it the Fresh Start Protocol, the Clean Slate Protocol, the Proof of Heart Protocol?
So Proof of Heart comes up later, and that is the actual use of his arc reactor, his proof that Tony Stark has a heart, which is a very funny joke that had a great long setup. I think Clean Sweep Protocol implies... Fresh Start implies he's going to come back, but originally Iron Man 3 was supposed to be the last appearance of Iron Man / Downey Jr. in the MCU, which would have been fitting considering Shane Black helped get him the job, and he would have been the last one to direct him. I do believe it is B, Clean Sweep Protocol, ensuring that no one else...
You confused all the answers. A, Clean Slate Protocol. B, Fresh Start Protocol. C, Proof of Heart Protocol.
Okay, it's not C.
Okay.
Clean Slate.
A is Clean Slate Protocol. B is Fresh Start Protocol.
I believe it's B, Fresh Start Protocol, implying that he wants... No, fuck, it's either... Ooh, that's good. Great question. Clean Slate. He's done Fresh Start, but that wouldn't make people think he was going to come back, which they didn't want to have as an option. A, Clean Slate. I believe it is Clean Slate.
Correct. You almost went B.
I almost faltered.
3 for 3 against Mercedes. Mercedes, you went 0 for 3 against the MCU Chump, but a valiant effort.
Great questions. They were very close to getting me. That was hard. I had to actually think about the writing style of Shane Black versus the... that was more about my Shane Black knowledge than my MCU knowledge.
Alrighty. It's come to this. The final questions come from Doug Chiarello, who I believe is Duger13.
Good old Duger.
Good old Duger13 is our final entry to Stump the MCU Chump. And his first question: which of the following actors has never been digitally de-aged for an MCU movie?
Fuck. Okay.
Which of them has not been digitally de-aged? A, Lawrence Fishburne. B, Raquel Weisz. Or C, Jon Favreau?
I mean, who hasn't admitted to it is A. No, wait, Lawrence Fishburne. A, yeah, correct. Because Rachel Weisz was in Black Widow, and Jon Favreau beautifully was with that luscious mullet. So it is A, Mr. Lawrence Fishburne. I would love to see Goliath young, but we haven't seen it yet.
So maybe there's a asterisk. Maybe there's a conspiracy here. The answer provided was Jon Favreau. Lawrence Fishburne in Ant-Man made to look younger.
Ant-Man 2, they did.
Yeah.
I thought there was a scene of young Goliath,
and
but I
digital.
know Jon Favreau was.
Jon Favreau might not have been digitally de-aged.
Oh, because he was definitely de-aged.
But yes, they did not digitally de-age him. I'm looking it up now. He is simply in a mullet wig with heavy makeup on. He has not been digital. It's not visual effects.
That's funny enough. I'm happy to lose it. I love that he's like, you know what? I'll just wear a mullet.
Yep, it was not a visual effect. Whereas Lawrence Fishburne and Raquel Weisz were. Also, Rachel, I don't ever know what her name is, but she's cute.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's
I
like
Rachel, I don't know.
I think it's Rachel. It's like Ray Fiennes. I'm like, are you Ralph?
It's like, bitch, your name is Ralph. Your name is Ralph, and stop.
Accept it. But my name's Coy, so I can't really talk.
Your name is Ralph, and stop being a JK apologist. All right, moving on. Second question from Doug Chiarello. So many Dougs. It's an impossible amount of Dougs involved in this program.
Considering how few Dougs I know other than our Dougs.
It's incredible.
That's why I thought Doug was wrong in the fucking Loki question, because I was like, too many Dougs.
All righty. Too many Dougs. That's going to be a song. All right. No, not enough Dougs. I don't mind. Too many Dougs implies we don't want these people around.
We want more Dougs.
All the Dougs.
Yeah. An abundance of Dougs.
That's going to be the next t-shirt. All the Dougs. All right. Former child actor and MCU executive producer Peter Billingsley, best known for starring as Ralphie in A Christmas Story, not Rafie.
Mm-hmm. Not Rafie. He knows how to spell it.
Former child actor and MCU executive producer Peter Billingsley can be seen as the character William Ginter Riva in what 2 MCU movies? Is it?
That would be Iron Man and Spider-Man Far From Home. In Iron Man, he is working opposite Jeff Bridges, Ironmonger, and in Spider-Man Far From Home, he is part of the cadre that allows Mysterio to form, as played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
So do you want the multiple choice?
Yeah, let's just in case, but I'm pretty sure.
Is it Iron Man and Spider-Man Far From Home? Is it Captain America the Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War? Or is it Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man No Way Home?
It is A. Peter Billingsley is in those 2 films as that role as described.
Crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. I've been writing, I wrote notes for all of these so that, we can answer the question. You pretty much stated what I wrote in my notes. William Ginter Riva is a former Stark Industries scientist and the one who created the Stark Industry combat drones. He was a member of the team ordered by Obadiah Stane to try to recreate the arc reactor. When he failed, he was berated by Obadiah. He would later join forces with Quentin Beck and worked with him and other ex-Stark employees to wreak havoc all across Europe. And of course, when Beck was defeated, Riva was instrumental in releasing Spider-Man's identity to the world, sending the fake footage, the altered footage of Spider-Man killing Mysterio in the Battle of London to the Daily Bugle. Crushed it. Absolutely crushed it.
Very proud of that one. Out of them all, that might be my most proud, because that is a deep cut ×2.
Alrighty, another one of these very difficult formulas that all of our listeners really love to do. Which one of the followings is not a song on not featured on the soundtrack of Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1? Which of the following songs is not featured on the soundtrack of Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1? Is it Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Suede? Is it Mama Told Me Not to Come by Three Dog Night? Or is it Come and Get Your Love by Redbone?
I believe Mama Told Me Not to Come is on another Guardians, not Volume 1. I know Hooked on a Feeling is Volume 1, and I'm 95% sure C is on Volume. I'm gonna go B.
That is correct. You went 2 for 3 against Doug Chiarello, who did get you on the de-aging VFX question. So the 5 people who stumped the MCU Chump are Ben Detrixhe, Luis Mendoza, Varun, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, Doug and Doug. We got both of our Dougs in there who stumped the MCU Chump. Well done,
but
to everybody.
I didn't get a single clean sweep, did I?
No, you did. Nobody clean sweeped you. I want to say congrats to all of the competitors involved on both sides of this battle.
I'm sweating.
It was a clean fight. Coy has lost about 6 pounds of sweat. I thoroughly
It's just
enjoyed
like
it.
my integrity as a nerd. It's just I literally do this for a living. If that had gone badly, it is a very tricky. Like there's proof of me being not good at my job. Like this was a no-win scenario, but I came out okay.
From our final entrant into the Stump the Chump challenge here, Doug Chiarello, to the last voicemail of the year by Doug Chiarello as well. Let's see what Doug has to say.
Hello, Coy, Jake, and all listeners. This is one of the Dougs, Duger13. I just wanted to leave a quick message to wish you all a joyous holiday season and best wishes for a happy and healthy new year. Jake, I know it's been a busy and hectic latter half of 2023 for you and Alexandra, and I hope that the new year brings peace, happiness, and a resolution to your East Coast adventure. And Coy, I hope that you have some time to relax and decompress after your frequent coast-to-coast travels and from all the stress of dealing with all the toxic nimrods and haters in the Twitterverse. I feel comfortable speaking on behalf of all of us listeners that we deeply appreciate you both and this fun community you have built through the years. Thanks for all of your hard work and the fun shows, and here's to more laughs in 2024. Be well and happy holidays. Bye.
Well, it's just so kind.
What a kind message, Duger. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the kind words, the sentiment, and hey, we agree. It's such a great community. We're so happy to have all of you here with us, hanging out and just fucking being nerds together. We try to celebrate.
Would not be here without Jake being such a good nerd that hides behind a hatred of Zack Snyder. But also without you guys being genuinely one of the best communities I've ever been a part of.
It is fantastic, and we wouldn't be here, of course, if it wasn't for the man whose name is in the title, Coy Jandro. So don't try to just turn it around on me. Listen, the highlight of the year for me was you not showing up, but it's not because I don't want you here. It's not because I don't want you.
You'll have that for the rest of my life. It's because you'll, for the rest of time, be able to hold over my head that Coycast once featured a Coyless episode.
Listen, we all love you, Coy, and I speak for Coy and myself when I say we love you guys, the listeners. Thank you so much. This was such a fun outing, but the episode's not over yet because it is the season of giving.
Important.
And while we are going to draw the winner for our MCU trivia contest in the next episode, we're still every episode. We're just giving shit away because it is indeed the first episode of December, and we need to pick the unpunchable gift horse of the month for the month of December 2023.
The last unpunchable 2023 gift horse.
If you're not sure what this is, well, then move that rock and crawl out from underneath it. You got to head on over to patreon.com/Coycast. Patreon.com/Coycast. First and foremost, it's the best way to support the show. And we do hope in this giving season, you will consider throwing some support our way. The Patreon allows us to keep doing what we do here. It allows us to nerd out with you guys and continue to build the community without putting so much pressure on ourselves about what we're doing with our time and our lives. And I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. We could not do this show without your patronage. So please consider checking out the Patreon if you have not already. There's a lot of fun stuff there. You can grab an annual subscription for a discounted rate. You can get a free trial subscription. There's tons of stuff. There's hundreds of episodes. We have 170 as of today, 170 patron-only pods available to you in which Coy and I talk about all of the art that we have enjoyed. And that comes to you at a super inexpensive rate for your monthly support. Those of you who drop a little extra coin, who show that extra love, are entered each and every month into the monthly Unpunchable Gift Horse of the Month contest, in which we draw a name out of all of the eligible Gift Horse patrons at random, and that person gets to be the Unpunchable Gift Horse of the Month. You get their name and lights if you're in the Discord. You get to choose something for Coy and I to watch eventually over on the POP, and you get the item of your choosing from the shop. You know, we've got a lot of familiar names here. There's a possibility someone could become an Unpunchable Gift Horse and the winner of the MCU Chump next episode, someone's just going to be stocking up on free merch here.
And send photos. We want to retweet. I want to see them in the Discord. Now's the time.
That's how we do it. I mean, listen, we got to stop doing this. All of our diehards never have to buy any merch from us because we're just giving it away.
And frankly, they don't have to buy other clothes either because they're just looking great in this merch. I see it on the streets. I gotta say, man, Robin in that sweatshirt made me so happy. Robin West Parker rocked it. Like that was a fine looking sweatshirt.
Speaking of Robin West Parker, current Unpunchable Gift Horse of the month was the Unpunchable Gift Horse for the month of November. Still in the running. Might become the back-to-back Unpunchable because that's
Let the record show. Saw him in the Unpunchable Gift Horse sweatshirt. Not only did I love the sweatshirt, couldn't punch him. Not that I wanted to, but if I'd wanted to, couldn't have.
Living the gimmick. All right. So yeah, to the point I was trying to make, there's an unlimited amount of times you can enter this. So for as many months as you're a Gift Horse patron, you get entered into it. So there's no limit to the amount of money that you could be getting back in merchandise. You can make money by being a patron if you're lucky enough. So without further ado, let's do it. What do you say?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Alrighty, the Unpunchable Gift Horse of the month for the month of December 2023 is indeed Harold Stokes. Harold Stokes, congratulations.
Hey.
You are the Unpunchable Gift Horse of the month for the month of December 2023. Let me go ahead and enter that into the sheet here. Let's see, when was the last time Harold Stokes? Harold Stokes was last Unpunchable February of 2023, so it's been a hot minute. Harold, keep your eye on your email. We'll let you know how you can snag your sweet prize from the shop. Coy, that'll do it for the episode this week. I think
that's it.
Tell the kids how they can call the hotline and stock up on some great hotline calls till next year.
Well, I thought that might be the move to wrap us out, but we do have one more episode this year, so tune in next week, not just for who gets crowned the winner of the attempting to stump this MCU chump. I may be a chump, but I wasn't fully stumped. So anyone else, though, please call in at 818-794-0622. That's 818-794-0622 to leave a hotline call. You guys are the co-hosts of this show. Me and Jake just work here. You guys steer the ship. So please do let us know how you want us to avoid whatever icebergs may be ahead. That's on you. You can also send voice memos to contact@koicast.com. Please do check out the Patreon. That is how, frankly, I get to afford the coffee that doing 8 hours of recording requires, and frankly, how Jake makes it up so many flights of stairs on a weekly basis to zigzag when I forgot something, and he's like, God damn it, Coy. And that's on me too, but he needs that coffee. So please do join the Patreon, not just for lots and lots, over 170 different episodes of stuff we have reviewed.
Exactly 170 as of today.
170 precisely.
Crazy.
Episodes of us reviewing between 3, 6, 10 different pieces of art. So we're talking 1,700 or so bits of just consumed glory. We ate it up. We spit it back out. We liked a lot of it, but you can hear all about that over on the Patreon. And again, as described, you can be an Unpunchable Gift Horse and maybe get some sweet, sweet merch back. So either way, check that out. And most of all, thank you for this incredible year. Again, we'll be back next year, but I can't say it enough. This community is so great. As mentioned by Duger, Twitter, less pleasant, and you guys are a great balance.
X, I believe you mean.
Yeah, X is what I need to start treating it like a fucking X. But that said, I tell you, man, Elon Musk has just been trying to bury that platform the year of an election, and now that it's around the corner, it's getting more transparent, and he called it X. It couldn't be more obvious. It's such a bad Lex Luthor supervillain move. Okay, anyway.
Listen, not to get into a whole sidebar, but you're giving him way too much credit. I think he's just an idiot.
I think that he has a very, very smart team of people that he's dumb enough to listen to. I think we're both right.
Yeah, all right. Well,
I think someone can buy something to bury democracy, and I think that someone is dumb enough to listen to someone suggesting he do it. And here we are, going into the year of an election, and he's like, well, Disney pulled out. Looks like the site's going to fail. Who are they going to blame, me or Disney? And like being a child. Anyway.
Well, let me say this then. Let me say this. Speaking of it, if you're still on that platform attempting to have any sort of positive impact, use the hashtag KoiCast and share the show with your friends. Tag us at KoiJandro, at Jake Lloyd Bacon on X. Also, if you are just like, fuck that app, you can find us on Instagram and Threads. You can find us on all the socials. Koi's got the TikTok. If you're not following him on the TikTok, that's probably the best platform, in my opinion, for KoiJandro. I'm not on. I am on a TikTok. I haven't posted a single TikTok. I'm gonna drop like a killer TikTok one day, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa!"
And you're just gonna go viral and be like, "Whoa, Jake's here!"
I'm gonna do like a dance. People are gonna be like, "Oh shit, Jake's dancing on TikTok.
He can dance." He's gonna come on there like Momoa and just take it over for a week. He just comes out SNL making skits.
We've been doing the show now. In a couple months here, we'll be celebrating I think our 4th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is flabbergasting.
We never had like a dedicated like social media for the show. And one could argue that it's been to the show's detriment. I do think that we might be able to reach a little bit farther with the help of you, the listeners. Use that hashtag. Use hashtag #quickest. Also, there is a Instagram account for Dragon Wagon Radio at It's Dragon Wagon that does post every new episode. The artwork for the Patreon is for the main feeds. If you're not following at It's Dragon Wagon, please head to Instagram at It's Dragon Wagon. There is also a Twitter account for it, but I haven't been posting to it because Twitter has become a cesspool. But if you want to share the stuff that's there, you can share the stuff that's there. You can follow it. Every little bit goes a long way, even if it's just sharing the podcast art each and every week. I make art for both the main feed as well as the Patreon only pod. If you like that stuff, if you comment on it, if you share it, I don't know. Social media is not for me. Koi's a social media boy, but I hear it helps.
He looks forward to the day he isn't, but until then, he'll be right here on KoiCast until he gets a flip phone and finally retires to the woods of Ireland. But until then, he is TikToking away. All right, much love, you guys. We will see you in a couple weeks, and we will see you even sooner on Patron Pod for you lovely patrons. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you for trying to stump me. Thank you to those who succeeded. Thank you to those that know that a pest is worse than a chump. Thank you to comic books for existing. We'll see you soon. Much love.
Hey everyone, Jake Lloyd-Bacon here.
Along with Paul Bianchi.
And Alexandra Hoy.
Hey, we all host different shows on Dragon Wagon Radio.
We do, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Not at all. We are here to talk about Dungeons and Dragon Wagon,
a narrative podcast series in which we venture into a mythical land for a D&D inspired role-playing game.
Alexandra and I are joined by Matt Hinksman and a very special guest of quest for each chapter of an epic saga in which we must take on the roles of half-orcs, dark elves, and more as we fight our way through a fantastical land of peril, drama, and often hilarity.
All of which is controlled by me, the Dungeon Master, and the players' chance rolls of the die.
And our show is for everyone. Even if you know nothing about D&D or role-playing games, we've got you covered.
That's right. Our game sessions are highly edited, easy to follow, sound designed from top to bottom, and completely immersive.
Yeah, our episodes sound more like a well-produced radio drama than an RPG show.
So what are you waiting for? Join the adventure on Dungeons and Dragon Wagon at dndwpod.com or wherever you find great podcasts.
It's Dragon Wagon.